Welcome back. This is the next lesson. Great. We're making great progress. We have covered so much ground. What I want to look at in this episode, video, lesson, is the direct object. Now, we're not going to explain what a direct object is right now, but that's what we're going to do. Before that, of course, we're going to do some revision. We're going to review. So, question. What is a sentence? That's right, CT. A sentence is a complete thought. If it's not a complete thought, if it's missing something, then we call it a sentence fragment, SF. A sentence should be a complete thought. If it is not, if it is missing one of the two necessary parts of a sentence, it is a sentence fragment. Very good. Now, revision. The two parts of a sentence, what are they? You need both of them. What are they? SP. The subject and the predicate. This is important stuff. You will thank me for going over this again and again and again. It's what we all have to do just to learn it. Simple as that. You will thank me. Hopefully, you will thank me in a review. Please leave a review. That would be so helpful. All right. So, how do we identify the two necessary parts of a sentence? The subject. What do? We ask a question. We ask who or what, followed by the verb. The dog barks. Who barks? The dog. The dog is the subject. How do we identify the predicate? What question do we ask? Yes. We ask subject what? The dog what? The answer is the dog barks. What is the predicate of that sentence? Barks. The predicate must contain one type of word. What type of word must it always contain? The answer is a verb. It must always contain a verb. Now, other things that we've just covered. Nouns. What is a noun? Sustantivo. Noun. What is a noun? A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. It's a person, place, thing, or idea. A person, Donald Trump. It's a place, Dubrovnik. It's a thing, Clamp. It's an idea, hatred. Okay, they can be real things, tangible things, visible things, or they can be fictional things. But nevertheless, nouns are people, places, things, or ideas. All right. Nouns, adjectives. What do adjectives do? Adjectives modify something. They modify one type of thing, one type of word. Adjectives modify nouns. Correct. Very good. Adverbs add something to a verb. They do other things, but for the meantime, we're going to say that adverbs modify verbs. They add something to the verb. They do a couple of other things as well. Very versatile. Now, let's get to the main course, the direct object. Great, the direct object. What is a direct object? Well, we're about to find out, and we're going to use a sample sentence, and the sample sentence is, wow, that is amazing. I like that sample sentence. It is very good. I caught the ball. Fantastic. Let's do our thing, shall we? Subject. Who or what, followed by the verb. Who caught? What caught? The answer is I caught. The subject is I. Let's do this. I, space. How do we identify the predicate? We ask subject what? I caught. Great. Now, we have this part diagrammed. Well, not really. We've got it in a line. Let's go ahead and diagram that and revise some stuff. Do you remember what the different parts are called? All right, let's look at this here. Okay, so we need a horizontal line, and we need a vertical line, which intersects the horizontal line. Do you remember the name of the horizontal line? It's the baseline, B-A-S-E, not bomb the base. All right, I caught. What's this vertical line called that separates the subject from the predicate? What's it called? It's called, of course, a predicate line. Very good, predicate line. Baseline, predicate line. Now, I've left a little space at the end here. All right, we're going to have a look at that. I caught the ball. We're going to slide back and think about direct objects. What is a direct object? Definition time. A direct object receives the action of the verb. A direct object receives the action of a verb. It receives the what? It receives the action of the verb. So only action verbs, only action verbs can receive the action of a verb because there is no action with, what are they called? Equals verbs, or as the rest of the world says, linking verbs. Only an action verb can have a direct object in it. Okay, what is a direct object? A direct object receives the action of the verb. A direct object what? A direct object receives the action of the verb. Great. Now you know. Let's have a look at this sentence again. Oh dear. What was the definition of a direct object again? What was it? Oh dear, what was it? Yes, I know. A direct object receives the action of the verb. Okay, the action of the verb is caught. The action is catching. What receives the action of catching? The answer is the ball. Now, again, the baseline. There are only 3 types of words that can exist on the baseline. They are, first of all, nouns such as I, and verbs such as caught. Okay, ball can go on the baseline, but the can't. The modifies ball. Let's have a look at that. Okay, first of all, how do we distinguish the direct object from the rest of the sentence? By the direct object line. Now, the direct object line is a vertical line, like the predicate line, but it does not intersect the baseline. It follows the verb, doesn't intersect the baseline, and is vertical. Good. So let's do this. I caught what? I caught the ball. Okay, I caught space, ball. I caught ball. That leaves us the letter the. That modifies what? Modifies the ball. How do we diagram modifiers? Where do they go? They go underneath the word which they modify in a diagonal line facing to the right. And we write the modifier upon that line. What a thing of beauty. I caught ball there. Fantastic. Excellent. What's the subject in that sentence? We can easily see it's to the left of the predicate line. Great, it's I. Okay, what's the subject? The subject is to the left of the predicate line. Subject is I. What's the predicate? Caught ball the. Caught the ball. The verb is just immediately to the right. What's the direct object? Well, it's just to the right of the direct object line. Ball. Fantastic. We can very simply, very easily see what's what. Are there any modifiers? Yes, they're below the baseline, underneath the word which they modify. Excellent. We have it in a nutshell. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Bit of revision. What is the direct object? What does it do? The answer is the direct object receives the action of the verb. What does a direct object do? It receives the action of the verb. Okay, so again, the direct object receives the action of the verb. Very good. Now, how do we ascertain what the direct object is? Well, we ask another question. The question this time is subject, verb, what? By the way, if there is no answer to the question subject, verb, what, if it just does not make sense, then there is no direct object, and that's perfectly fine. There does not need to be a direct object. Okay, so how do we ascertain what the direct object is? We ask subject, verb, followed by what? How do we find the direct object? We ask the question subject, verb, what? Nice, let's go on. Another sentence. This is an excellent sentence. He kicked the chocolate penguin. It's a very useful phrase if you're not a native speaker of English. You might want to memorize that. He kicked the chocolate penguin. How do we find the subject? We ask who or what, followed by the verb. Who or what kicked? The answer is he kicked. He is our subject. He. Fine. Space, space, space. How do we find the predicate? We ask subject what? He, what? He kicked the chocolate penguin. The predicate is kicked the chocolate penguin. Okay, here's our sentence. He kicked the chocolate penguin. We've got the subject, we've got the verb. But what receives in this sentence? What receives the action of kicking? The chocolate? No, that isn't a noun in this case. The is not a noun either. Penguin. Yes, penguin is the noun. He kicked what? He kicked what? He kicked penguin. Let's write that noun beside there. How can we identify, if we're not sure, how may we identify the direct object? We can identify the direct object by asking subject, verb, what? Subject, verb, what? He kicked what? He kicked penguin. Excellent. Now, let's diagram this. We need the horizontal line. The horizontal line is called, do we remember what it's called? It's called the baseline. Baseline, wonderful. Okay, well, we need this line, which separates the subject from the predicate. It is called the predicate line. We also, since this is the direct object, we need to draw this line, which does not intersect. It's meant to be vertical. It's like a little tree, and it touches the baseline. There we go. What is the name of the line which what is the name of the line which separates the verb from the direct object? It's called the direct object line, the DO line. Fine. Now, do we have any words left over? Yes, the and chocolate. What do the words the and chocolate modify? They modify the word penguin. Where do we write modifiers? We write modifiers underneath the word which they modify on a diagonal line facing to the right. In the order in which they appear. Which penguin? The penguin. A little determiner, a little article. Good. In order of appearance. What kind of penguin? Ah, the chocolate penguin. Chocolate, in this case, is a word which modifies a noun. What is the name of a word which modifies a noun? You guessed it. It's an adjective. It's an adjective. There we go. Another thing of beauty. I think you'll agree. Let's try one or two more sentences to practice our newfound skill. Billy threw the baseball. Very American. I hope you Americans are pleased with my nod to American culture. Wonderful. Now, subject. How do we find the subject? We ask who or what, verb. Who or what threw? Billy threw. Billy is our subject. Boom. Billy. 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 Space. Billy, what? Subject, what? That is our predicate, the beginning of our predicate. Threw the baseball. Ah, now we're in direct object territory. The direct object receives the what? Receives the action of the verb. What receives the action of throwing? The baseball. Now, only nouns and verbs and something else can go on the baseline. What's the noun between the and baseball? Well, it's a baseball. Billy threw baseball. Okay, now we need to draw our diagram lines. This mad-looking line here, pretty nice. It's the baseline, B-A-S-E. This is the predicate line. This is the DO, the direct object line. Great. So we now know at a glance the subject. We know the predicate through baseball. We know what the direct object is. We've got all bases. we've got all bases. We've got everything covered there except the. The is a modifier. It's an article. It's a determiner. It tells us which baseball. The answer is the baseball. How do we diagram modifiers? Underneath the baseline, connected to the word it modifies and drawn on that diagonal line which faces to the right. And there it is. Billy threw the baseball. All right, let's try one more and see if you can get it this time before I do. Okay, here we have another sentence. Yes, I often asked him. Let's do this one by one, starting with the subject. Who or what asked? I asked. I asked. Okay, I is our subject. Subject what? This gives us our predicate, the beginning of the predicate. I asked. Okay, so how do we find the direct object? We ask subject, verb, what or whom. Subject, verb, what or whom. I asked whom? I asked him. Our direct object is him. All right. Let's draw the lines. Let's draw the lines. One horizontal line. It's a base line, B-A-S-E. The predicate line, which intersects that line, and the line separating the verb from the direct object in the predicate is called the direct object line. This leaves us with the word often. What word does often modify? It modifies ask. It tells us how frequently or when. So, what kind of word does that make often? Since it modifies a verb, it's adding information about a verb. Yes, of course, it's called an adverb. I hope you enjoyed that. So let's diagram that. We diagram the modifiers, be they determiners, be they adjectives, be they adverbs, underneath the verb that they modify on a diagonal line facing towards the right. I often asked him. Excellent. So I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, that is the direct object. And we are learning so much. We're integrating so much. I'm very, very pleased with your progress so far. My advice is to keep going. Keep going. Watch the videos again and again and again. You can and you will master the grammar and sentence diagramming of sentences. Thanks for watching. This video was part of a course that normally costs $29.99 at udemy.com. But click the link below and you get the course for only $9.99, a 66% saving. The course has all the exercises you need to master basic sentence diagramming and sentence grammar. So, click now for lifetime access with a 30-day money-back guarantee.